Well, the good weather continues. Pretty good run we've had. Over a week now of lack of drizzle, which has been nice. And I got the those holes in my roof, the 5 holes that were where the old lights were, the fluoros. That's I got a guy to come around, a handyman guy, who did the plastering today. He did half the job because he had to do the base, which he reckons hardens to a concrete type finish, and then he basically does the cosmetics on top of it. Tomorrow morning he comes back. So yeah, he was an interesting guy to talk to. Boy, he's done a lot of different jobs. He's been a sea captain. Well, he worked in breeding butterflies, of all things, at the Daintree. He's a guy that all his friends go to get to find out trivial information about facts of life and nature and what have you. So yeah, he's a fascinating guy to talk to, and he gave me some insights into the difference between moths and butterflies and evolutionary changes and things like that. So yeah, it was an interesting guy to chat to. He also gave me an insight into how much the body corporates are getting ripped off. He said there was a plastering job, where this guy quoted so high that the people that were actually giving him the job, or must have been the body corporate manager, said to him, look, you better up your quote, because the other guy has actually quoted twice as much as you, and the body corporate people might think it's a bit suspicious and you're doing dodgy sort of work. So he's almost forced into having to inflate his rates just to have a chance of getting a job, and that's an insane situation. Minor victory at Cairns. I always check my docket when I leave, just in case, and today there was an error. A checkout woman had actually swiped my had scanned some pork chops I'd bought twice, so took it back, no problem, got it taken off, so that was good. Well, it's about 5:30, 21st of June, probably the shortest day of the year. Must be just today or tomorrow anyway. So you see the sun setting there. No breeze, which is nice. And I just heard today that the UK government, the Tories, are actually still going through the process of trying to elect a new leader. Looks like Boris Johnson will probably win, but it's such a protracted process. It's going to go on for a month. They won't know officially until this time next month who the actual leader is. Ridiculously protracted compared to Australia, where it's just done in a cabinet room and it's done in a few days, over a weekend basically. Why not? But it has to go to all the party to be voted on, similar to what the Labor Party does in Australia actually, and I don't think that's a good thing. But you know, it just shows you how similar Conservatives are to Labor when they follow the same policies in that regard. It sort of says it all really. It's just, you know, like I said, they're Labor lights, like Liberals here are Labor light. But it's just a ridiculously convoluted situation. But that's the way they want to do it, and it looks as though it's going to be a formality for Boris anyway, and that's a good thing, I think, because I think Theresa May's been absolutely just been a total disaster. Even though the likes of Alan Jones thinks that the sun shines out of a rear orifice, and that just baffles me, because I think she's one of the weakest leaders I've ever seen. And she's a Remainer, and she just kept trying to stifle Brexit, and she's made an absolute fool of herself in Europe, and she's really put offside most of the voters in England. The Conservatives are in really bad shape right now because of the way that they've lied to the electorate, and even people who are Remainers and voted to Remain are also pissed off. They know that they're basically snubbed their noses at what the electorate said, and that's just, average people don't like that. So it just proves that politicians are in a bubble. But anyway, I'm heading off on my meet-up dinner at an Italian restaurant, and first off I'll go down to PJ's, get myself a happy hour pint of lager, a local brew, Great Northern, $5, not bad. And yeah, the breeze is picking up again. Yeah, I think the guy who did the plastering's a bit of a lefty, but he was actually thought that Joe Biden should win in America for the Democrats, get the nomination. Said that he'll probably, he claims that Trump hasn't got a hope in winning, so I think he's totally out of touch. But interesting guy though, and of course I didn't take the bait and get into a political discussion. I mean, he did a good job. He again, I paid the quoted amount of $200, so that was fine. And he actually at one stage I thought he was just going to do the plastering without painting, but he did that as well. He did the whole job. He did 2 coats of plaster, the base and the next coat, and he also put on the paint. He claims it's actually all the same colour for ceilings, but it was a different colour because the ceilings are so old that they've been affected by stains and what have you, smoke, all the usual crap that people bring into homes. Here's all the traffic, homebound traffic. Oh, actually got a red light, beautiful. Just got a green light. It would have been waiting ages otherwise. Oh, that was fortuitous. Yeah, all the people coming to this meeting tonight, which is a travel meet-up, they're all women. I'm the token male. Now I'm thinking that they're probably the people that Tony's taking to Spain next year. Now I may be wrong there, and I'll find out, I guess. But the restaurant looks quite nice when you sit outside. They're getting a private room because enough people are coming along. There's 8 of us, and it's 6:30. All pint of Great Northern consumed, and now I'm heading down the same sort of direction I went last time. Oh, actually I've got to go, I just realised, no, I do have to cross the road. Silly me. I've got to go this way. It's actually Abbott Street. Checked it out, the venue of this place on Street View. Very good service there. They've got some good technology. Google, pity they're stuffing us around with YouTube, but they've got, otherwise they do have some good technology. Usually pretty busy along here, especially when there's a few buses. But so this is Cairns early evening in the middle of winter. I actually got my wind cheater there in the bag because it could be a little nippy going back. It's certainly cooler in the mornings, so we'll see how it goes. But I've got to go down around the back of Woolworths where I shop quite a bit. I mix and match between Woolies and Coles, depending who's got the best specials. But this is actually a little further away. I think actually Woolworths might be opening up in Cairns Central, which means, well, it means I probably won't be coming down here as much. I'll go down to PJ's, but for supermarket shopping I can get all done at Central eventually, because they've got a renovation happening there. Also renovating the domestic terminal at the airport, and that's well overdue because it is really packed out. It's like a ghost town, the international terminal, but the domestic terminal is really busy. So I don't often do this, go down here at night, so it's a nice change. So it seems fairly quiet. And imagine, I don't know, this is probably not the peak tourist season, I'm not sure what is, but tourism's been hit pretty hard anyway. Like I say, people are worried about the Barrier Reef. That's one of the biggest attractions, and they're not coming up for that. But people in the southern states, especially Vic, would love to get away from Melbourne winter. And I spoke to my cousin today in Lilydale, in Melbourne, and she said, yeah, it's been pretty drizzly and cold. Pretty standard stuff. So here's the rear entrance to Woolworths. Okay, they've got those Australia Post boxes there. It's a good idea. You can actually get stuff delivered to be picked up at the supermarket. It's probably better security than at a Australia Post place, so it's not a bad idea. So, hopefully this will not be a dud run. Hopefully unlike last time, I'll actually find that they are gathered there for a get-together. So hopefully I'll have a chat about travel tonight. Hopefully these people are the ones going to Spain, and I'll give them a bit of intel. So this should be the restaurant just up here, the Tan restaurant. So we'll see. It's fairly distinctive. Even I'll be able to see it with my crappy eyesight. So pretty sure that's, yep, I'm definitely in the right area. That's it, just there with a little balcony. So that's the restaurant casino just over there. I have never been in that casino. So here's the actual restaurant. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great. But please don't ignore me. That's the worst thing you can do on YouTube, is be ignored.